Viola Bennet. Chapter 7. FRAWN'S Lullaby. The first weekend in Tanzania. Viola's family headed to Mikumi National Park. The dry season, from June to October, offered the best chance to see wildlife. With sparse vegetation and animals gathering near water, sightings became more frequent. Guided by an experienced ranger, they explored the park on foot, immersing themselves in the untamed African bush and pausing to study plants, insects, and animal tracks along the way. Sunlight filtered through the thin canopy, casting dappled patterns across Viola's sketchbook. She settled onto a smooth rock and began sketching the distant Uluguru Mountains, softened by a bluish haze. A small herd of zebras drifted by, their movements effortless. Her pencil moved quickly, trying to capture the fleeting grace before it vanished. Viola felt a calm she had never known in the city, the kind that silences even your thoughts. There was no traffic, no noise, only the steady rhythm of the bush. Every plant, every fallen leaf, even the insects scurrying across the soil, seemed to tell the story of this ancient land. She realized humans were not just observers here. They were part of a delicate balance, a mirror reflecting the wild around them. They followed a dry creek bed, fields stretching golden and sun-baked around them. These tiny tracks, are they from a small antelope? Marco asked the guide. Yeah, those belong to the dik-dik, the guide said with a smile. They move in pairs and are extremely shy. Their ancestors go back to the Miocene epoch, about 12 million years ago. Viola's eyes widened. She glanced at Leo, and they both held up fingers, trying to wrap their minds around the number.
12 million years. That's way older than humans.
Leo whispered, astonished. Viola looked back at her sketchbook.
Papa, when I draw them, I feel like this planet isn't just ours. It belongs to creatures like them, who've lived here for thousands of generations.
Exactly, Marco studied the lively strokes in Viola's sketch. You've captured their spirit, my sweetie. Your style is really coming along. You know, your grandfather always carried a sketchbook when exploring Africa.
Really, so that's why I am his beloved granddaughter.
Viola said, grinning, her eyes sparkling with playful pride. Marco chuckled and patted her shoulder. Your grandpa is a remarkable man. I believe you will turn out the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
Viola replied, her voice firm with determination, eyes sparkling. She felt a quiet warmth in her chest, as if her confidence and curiosity were being quietly endorsed, passing from one generation to the next. Leo crouched down, studying a set of crisscrossing tracks. He looked up, his expression serious.
Do you guys ever think that these animals are studying our footprints too?
Viola smiled, watching her little brother.
So you're saying we're their wild animals?
Leo gestured theatrically, mimicking a wildlife documentarian.
Attention, fellow creatures. Observe the rare human family on migration. They carry sketchbooks and binoculars.
Viola chuckled, shaking her head.
Then let's stay still and let them get a proper look.
The happy banter continued. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the sky burned with streaks of orange and crimson. The wind rustled through the tall grasses, and in the distance, a herd of elephants swayed their massive bodies, tails flicking in unison, trumpeting softly. Viola grew pensive, her pencil pausing mid-sketch.
These animals watch the same sky every day, walk the same paths, yet they never seem to tire of it.
She murmured. Leo glanced at her, a faint smile on his face.
With this kind of world as your companion, why would you ever be bored?
She exhaled slowly, tracing a line across the page.
Exactly. We need to feel nature more deeply.
They sat in silence as twilight deepened, the plains bathed in soft purple shadows. Viola scribbled a final line beside her sketch. Humans do not merely watch animals, we see ourselves reflected in them. She leaned back, feeling the cooling wind on her skin. The world's peace is always there, we're just too loud. The sun had sunk low, sending its last golden rays slanting through the car windows. Their shadows stretched across the park road, long and thin. Viola's family began the quiet drive home. Inside the car, only the whisper of the wind and the gentle hum of the tires broke the silence. Viola gazed at the vast darkening sky. The endless stars reminded her of the Dutch beach and of Elias's story about Altair and Vega, the lovers separated by the Milky Way, yet never ceasing to believe they would be together. A sudden clarity struck her. If hadn't been David's presence that held him back that night, after the kiss, Elias was going to tell me he was leaving Germany. He had shared the story already knowing the distance that would come between us. The realization sank like a dull weight in her chest. Yet, even if things had been different, what then? Leaving is leaving. She missed him, missed the warmth, the quiet intensity he brought under the stars. And now, he was untouchable, so far away. Viola frowned, pressing her forehead against the cool glass. Suddenly, Marco slammed on the brakes, the tires squealing slightly. Wait, what's that on the road? Isabella squinted through the windshield. In the middle of the road stood a tiny fawn, frozen and trembling. Its ears drooped, eyes wide with fear. One hind leg hung stiffly, clearly injured. Spots still fresh and bright marked its coat. It could have been born only days ago. Viola's chest tightened, a shiver running down her spine. She flung open the car door. It's so small, it must have lost its mother. Leo crouched carefully, inching toward the fawn. It stepped back, legs wobbling, and let out a soft pained bleat. Isabella knelt, speaking in a gentle soothing voice. It's okay, baby. You're safe now. The fawn sniffed her hand, ears flicking nervously, but made no move to run. Viola slipped off her jacket and wrapped the trembling creature carefully.
It's so small, and it hurts. We can't just leave it.
Tears prickled her eyes. The family exchanged determined looks. No one spoke, but all understood. Together, they lifted the fawn into the car, setting off to find a veterinarian. Back at their residence, the family breathed a collective sigh of relief as they carried the fawn to a sun-drenched corner of the patio, layering dry grass and blankets to make a warm cradle. Isabella cleaned its wound, while Marco contacted a local vet. Leo, with solemn importance, officially named the fawn Frawn, a tiny creature with bright, alert eyes and a surprising courage for one so small. Every evening after dusk, Viola would take her ukulele and sit beside the fawn. She played soft chords and quietly sang a short poem she had written for it, FRAWN'S Lullaby. Viola's voice floated softly under the dim light. Even the evening breeze seemed to pause and the chirping of insects faded, leaving only the gentle melody to wrap around the fawn, who nestled into the blankets with trembling calm.
Beneath twilight's trembling silver skies, a fawn once once lost now slumbers without fear, cradled by stars and whispered lullabies, dreaming of woods where soft winds brush her ear. The cradle arcs a shield against the night, each tender curve a promise kept by time. The silver breath of dawn, the hush of light, weaves through her dreams a pure and endless rhyme. Oh, little heart who braved the roaring storm, your spirit sings in every shining thread, that even broken wings can find their form, that even weary souls are gently led. So where this song, where hidden hopes abide, a lullaby of life, of love, of pride. Oh, little heart who braved the roaring storm, your spirit sings in every shining thread, that even broken wings can find their form, that even weary souls are gently led. So where this song, where hidden hopes abide, a lullaby of life, of love, of pride.
Gradually, Fawn began to recover. It nibbled eagerly at its food, and the fear slowly drained from its eyes. Viola sketched the little creature under the shade, pencil moving quickly across the page. Nearby, Leo basked in the sun, laughing softly as Fawn nudged his hand with gentle curiosity. Isabella carefully dressed the injured leg every day. Marco chuckled, ruffling Leo's hair. Looks like we have a new little brother now. Viola smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face, her eyes warm. But they all knew Fawn belonged to the wild. When Fawn was fully healed, they drove to a local animal sanctuary, a shaded refuge of open grasslands and trees, home to other rescued animals. Viola's fingers lingered on the crate, her chest tight with quiet reluctance. Leo pressed his forehead briefly against the wire, whispering a small goodbye. The staff gently took Fawn, praising the family for the excellent care that had brought him back to health. Viola's fingers trembled as she handed the caretaker the hand-stitched scarf she had made, along with the lyrics to her song. She pressed her lips together, blinking rapidly to hold back tears.
He likes to hear this at night,
she whispered. Leo quietly slipped a piece of paper into the small cloth bag. It was a drawing he and Viola had colored together, Fawn standing beneath a starry sky, a full moon overhead, and a lucky four-leaf clover at its feet. Before they left, the fawn turned back to look at them. The entire family stood by the fence, waving. Their eyes were shimmering with pride, and something that felt like goodbye. On the drive home, Viola opened her sketchbook to Fawn's page. Beneath the pencil lines, she wrote, "We cannot save the whole world, but we can gently protect every small life around us. Goodbye, Fawn, our brave little warrior." She pressed the book to her chest, gazing out at the darkening landscape, feeling both sorrow and quiet pride.